What's up, everyone? It's Matt with Surf City TCG here with week 3 video for my Zimone Duskmourn Precon Upgrade League. So just to recap, if you haven't seen my previous videos, I will post the link here. So please check those out first. But for week 1, we changed. So first we played with base level precons, and then we changed 10 cards with a maximum value of $10, including, well, in addition, we also got one free land, any value, but nothing except utility lands, no OG duels. Aminatou won that week. And then on week 2, we got changed 10 cards max again. This time we had up to $15 to spend. This is based on TCG player lows at the given time. And again, one free land. Valgavoth won last week, although it was very close. I almost took it. And then this week, which I'm working on for this video, we're allowed again 10 cards max, but we also get a free land as usual and one free card of any value this week. No dollar amount restrictions, no other restrictions except for standard commander ones. And the other 10 cards we get are max value at 20. So this week should result in a pretty substantial upgrade to the deck. We have the most dollars to change. We have the free card, which can be any value, and kind of the accumulation of all the other changes in addition to these should make a pretty substantial power level increase for this week. So before I head into the main content of the video, just want to remind everyone to please like and subscribe my videos. It takes just a second to hit that like button, but it really helps me. It helps tell YouTube that you like my content and you appreciate me doing this. These videos do take a lot of time and are a lot of work, both in advance and afterwards and during. So I love to get comments just saying this was helpful for you, or letting me know what you did or didn't like about the video, parts that you especially enjoyed or thought could be better or different in any way. I'd really appreciate all the feedback I get because I'm new at this. So any things I learned from you guys, it's just all very helpful. So please just take a moment and do that for me. I'd really appreciate it. And if you haven't already, please hop on and join my Discord. The link's in the description below. And Discord's really easy to use if you haven't used it before. It's just like an old school chat room, basically. And we have great discussion about Magic. I help people with decks. We talk about new cards, spoilers, like Magic, finance, speculation, all sorts of stuff. So it's really fun and interesting, and we have a good community going. So I'd love to see more of you there. That all being said, let's hop into the main content of this video and talk about the changes to make for our As with previous weeks, I've moved all of the cards I'm considering over to kind of a separate deck list that I'm going to use for editing just for logistical reasons. There's no real like major reason you need to do this. I just like to get very finicky with the different like zones, like the main board, sideboard, considering it, it's nice to have kind of duplicates of those to work with, but I will end up importing all of my changes into the main deck list, so you don't need access to this one. This is just for the purposes of my review and editing. So we, I guess the first thing I want to do is just, as with the previous video, I want to spend a minute looking back and reflecting on what happened in the game. In fact, I'm going to switch back to the main deck list for now, just so we can review like what's in here, how things went. I will say that like I haven't been super pleased with how this deck is playing out. Um, it's not that it's not working. I am getting the landfalls. I am getting to trigger both her first and second abilities. It just doesn't feel like I have the ability to close out games. I don't have enough threats. My threats aren't threatening enough, so to speak. And the games are just in general feeling like they're going very long. Like they're there haven't been a like unusually large amount of board wipes, but I guess they've been a little stacksy, especially with the Aminatou deck, because that deck tends to lean toward heavy stacks. In fact, like if you've seen my Aminatou deck list, my upgraded one, you'll know that like it leans very heavily on stacks elements because it kind of has to. It can't close out games very easily without like relying on some sort of infinite. So therefore it's really like leaning on some stacks pieces, and that just means we're seeing a lot of those. in most games. In fact, Blind Obedience has kind of held me down in all three, if maybe not the original one, but like both of the upgrade video series. I kind of just got like totally suppressed and oppressed, so to speak, by blind obedience, which is exactly what the card's in there to do. But I wasn't finding a removal for it. And even though last week I dedicated some more spots to removal, I just didn't happen to see any of it. And that's how it ended up working out. So I think this week I do want to continue my focus on like pushing toward more removal, especially for artifact and enchantments, and also then minimizing my reliance on those cards. And then also focus on adding some threats, some like cards that can win the game on their own. And then maybe some ways to get stuff back from the graveyard. I think more of those would be powerful because we do end up filling our graveyard quite substantially. So I think those are the big things I wanted to focus on. In terms of what's going well, the amount of mana and ramp we have is definitely sufficient. There have been like 2 games now where I've run out of basic land. And deck isn't light on basics. I've got 18, but with both Trail of Mystery, being able to find a basic land every time a face down creature enters, meaning every time you manifest dread, and Threats Around that every corner doing kind of the same thing, but putting it into play. I've just been literally running out of basics. In fact, last game I had a Trail of Mystery out and I just stopped using it because I had so many basics in my hand and I had a Reliquary Tower, so it was fine, but I had no way to just get those into play really. I eventually was able to play most of them, but without a way to play additional lands on every turn, it's just hard to really make use of those. So I think Trail of Mystery, surprisingly, I might end up cutting. I don't think I will this week. I don't want to be too results oriented and say like, well, that's how it worked out that game, therefore this card is bad. But I do have my eye on this card, and I did not think I would when I started this series. So Threats Around Every Corner is absolutely nuts. This card just goes off with Zimone because every time you manifest dread, which is on landfall, you get a land. So it like self-fueling, right? It basically turns every land into 2 land. And this card's absolutely insane. In fact, the game I played last week testing for this, if you saw that video, you saw that my opponent very correctly and astutely identified this card as a huge threat and kind of removed it right away, which I think was the right play, although I was a little salty about it at the time. Anywho, I just wanted to talk briefly about those things before I jump into the changes I want to make because I think before you go in and make a bunch of changes, you really want to be thoughtful about what happened and try to just have that big picture understanding of what does the deck need, what are our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, like do a SWOT analysis. And I think that's a really good way to approach deck building. So let's flip back over and I think what I want to do first, so first of all, I'm going to update to cheapest. I'm just going to click more here, update to cheapest, continue to make sure we're seeing the least expensive versions of everything. Because, if I want to add a Sensei's Divining Top, but the only version I have is this from the Vault one that's $38, I still get the benefit, even if I'm playing this version, of having the one that's the cheapest, which is 26. So this is still too much for us to add, and it would be a great add. So it's Scroll Rack. So we could spend our free card slot on this, but there's a lot of cards that this deck wants. So I just want to really look at what our options are for maybe, I don't know if I'm going to make the decision about the card I want to add, the expensive card I want to add right now, but I do want to at least start off by looking at what our options are and the things that I would be most interested in. So I do have it right now sorted. First of all, I have the prices added. You can do that in advance just by clicking this price button. And then I have it sorted by price. I can keep it grouped by type, meaning creature, instant, sorcery, etc. I could change it to my types and tags. I could also just put it on no grouping to see like what are just the most expensive cards that I'm considering right now. Phyrexian Dreadnought is a funny one. I would love to add this card to the deck because it's so cute in the deck. You get to skirt that ETB, sacrifice any number of creatures, or bury it. Bury means basically sacrifice it. It can't be regenerated. They don't use that word anymore, but this is an old card. It is reserve list, part of the reason it's so expensive, and it's just a very good card. There are a lot of ways to cheat it, including like manifesting it with some Zimone and then just flipping it, because stuff you flip doesn't enter the battlefield. It's already on the battlefield. So you could cheat out a 12/12 trample. I don't think it's I would, like I said, I would add this if I had just unlimited slots, because I do own one, but excuse me. Um, I just don't think it's the best bang for our buck in terms of like expensive stuff we can add. Um, I could be wrong and it could be fun and cute, but like it's an artifact also. And for that reason, since I'm like I added last week the what is it called? The sorcery that hits all artifacts and enchantments. I never drew it. I wanted to draw it the whole game and I never saw it. Yeah, so anyway, enough said. I don't want to add it for this reason. Since Divining Top's a different story because you can always just draw a card, put it on top of your library to protect it. So this is definitely high in what I'm considering. This is an excellent card in this deck because first of all, we have lots of ways to shuffle. So we could draw basically the best card off the top. And Sylvan Library is a really good choice for the same reason. It lets us like draw the cards we want, manifest dread the others, and then with all of our ways to shuffle, just shuffle away the stuff that we don't want for either. So it just basically lets us see like three cards every turn, even if we're not choosing to pay all the life to draw additional cards, even though very often that is what you should be doing with Sylvan Library. So I think between Sylvan Library and Top, it's hard to say. Like we don't have a lot of life gain, which makes me want to lean more toward Top. And Top protects itself if like one of the things I probably want to add this week is Bane of Progress. Let's see where it is because I don't know how much it is now. I'm still shocked this card is so much. The last time I remember seeing it prior to this video series, it was like $1 or two. It is worthy of this being a $6 card. This card's insane. I'm just surprised it went up so much, but I still think it's very likely I want to add this week, so I'm gonna just push it in. The only problem with it is that it doesn't work if we manifest red it. But what I'm also considering adding, and I want to add it now before I forget, something like Crystal Shard, which can help us like return something to our hand. It first of all, this is a nice. If you haven't seen this card, it's really cute. Like because for basically one blue, right? You don't ever want to be paying three unless you have to. But for one blue, we can bounce one of our own creatures, right? We get the choice of if we want to pay the one, which we obviously won't if we're bouncing our own creature. But it also means opponents have to keep one extra mana up all the time, or we can just boom bounce their commander. And oof, does that hurt? That's like a tempo gut shot like no other. If you have never been hit with a crystal shard on your like 4 or 5 or 6 mana creature, it's brutal. So I love this card, and I think this is a great deck for it. So plus it makes adding something like Bane of Progress safer and better for us. So I think I really like the idea of adding this combination of cards this week. Another one I would consider is Runaway Together, although I think like our our removal for creatures, this is a card just real quick that I've literally never played this, but I've played against it lots of times. It always impresses me. Every time someone plays it, I'm like, man, that card's good because like it could save one of your guys, it can bounce a few creatures that opponents have for only 2 mana, and bounce spells do not get enough credit. How often do you have time to recast your 6 mana artifact? I know this can't bounce artifacts, but like 6 mana creature or whatever, like it's just such a beating, like when you pay 1 mana to bounce someone's thing. So bounce spells definitely don't get enough credit, and I suggest you try playing more of them because they're so good. Anyway, let's not get sidetracked here. I think I want to lean toward top being the choice between I'm just talking about between Sylvan and Top. I think Top's better because I want to add Bane of Progress. And although Top does get hit by Bane just like Sylvan Library does, we can always just tap it and put it on top of our library in response. So it's going to be a lot safer. So I think I'm leaning toward that. That's not necessarily what I'm deciding because another card I would like to add is Pornoculus. This card is nuts. I can't believe it's so expensive. I mean, I both can and can't believe it's so expensive. And I haven't opened one. I've opened a decent amount of Duskmourn, haven't opened one, sadly. I do have a proxy made because I was thinking it was likely that I was going to use this for my ad this week, but I'm not 100% sure on that yet. It's definitely high on the list of ones I'm considering though. So let's get that added. Finale of Devastation is kind of perfect for this deck. We often are making tons of mana, just like not having that much to do with it. This is both a finisher or a tutor for an important creature early game. For example, if we look at stuff that we might want to get with the finale, it's not restricted to green creatures, right? Yeah, so any creature, we can get it from the graveyard too, which is very important and powerful for this deck because a lot of times we're putting the creatures in the graveyard just because we have to, right? But early game, we can just use it to grab Paranormal Analyst, which I've not had the pleasure of having in play for more than basically a turn yet, but is absolutely insane because it turns Manifest Dread into a tremendous draw engine. You know, all those cards that would go to your graveyard are now going to your hand. Like, yes, please. This card is so good. So we could use Finale to basically be a second copy of this to find it, right? Even if it's died, we can get it out of the graveyard. We can use it to get Shigeki if we need to just get back a bunch of cards from the graveyard. Shigeki is often a card I'm like hoping to draw, especially in the late game, because we could just dump a ton of mana to X, get back tons of cards from our graveyard, right? We could use it to get Death Raptor, which I haven't had in play yet, or in the graveyard somehow, like just hasn't happened. We can use it to get Tatiova or AC or like Ramanap Excavator if we just need more land drops and need to play them from the graveyard. I really like the idea of Finale of Devastation. It's certainly high on the list of cards I want to consider adding, so I'm going to put that in. Um, just looking through this other expensive stuff. Thassa, this is cute. Like we can blink our things to flip them, but we just don't really need that. Like we've got, it's very easy to flip stuff. I haven't ever had really problems doing that. So this is not a card that I think is worth this cost. Exploration's definitely a valid choice. It's probably the least interesting and fun of the options, but it's certainly an option. The fact that it's an enchantment, I think, means we're gonna skip it. But if you're not going the route of like less enchantments artifacts, I think this is a very good choice. Um, and those are really the main ones I would consider in terms of this expensive ad. Um, I may come back and revisit this. Omniscience is a pretty decent one, but like I said, we haven't really had a lot of issues like getting our stuff into play. It's more about like the stuff in play actually doing something that valuable for us. So, Huckleberry Fairy is one that I'd love to get in the deck. I wish it was a little less expensive. Maybe next week we might see if we can add this like within our budget, but using 13 of our $20 on land is just not where we want to be, I think, this week. We do get a free land, but I already talked to my play group and I agree with them, even though it doesn't benefit me, that Huckleberry Fairy is too much utility to be counted for a free land. So I can't use my free land on this. So with my free land, I'll probably be adding something like Scalding Tarn or Verdant Catacombs, whatever the most expensive fetch land is that I'm not currently running. I could add Breeding Pool, but honestly, like, I don't think this is nearly as important as just getting in another fetch land because fetch land can trigger two landfalls in a single turn, and that's huge. Way more important than Breeding Pool or Hedge Maze in this deck in particular. So let's stick with Nissa is a good choice too. Nissa's really good in this deck. It's like a draw engine plus a Lotus Cobra, like makes us a lot of mana. I think it's a strong consideration, but I don't know if it's better than like any of these three. I think these are the three that I would be most interested in. So I'm gonna table this decision for now. We're gonna figure out what else we're adding, and then I'm gonna figure out I'll decide at the end like which of these three I think is the most useful given the other stuff we're looking to add. So what I'm going to do right now is just move these over into like some other board just to get them out of the way so they're not clogging up um, the dollar amount in the main deck. So let's cut these over and we'll put them in like the trash in deck, whatever that means. It's like the infinity something something. The point is they're off to the side. They're not, yeah, they're right here. They're not counting toward my main deck total. So wait, did they get removed? One, two, three. Yeah, I guess they got removed because I only have three main deck, $16. Yeah, okay, it's good. So they're showing up over here, that's fine. Let's update to cheapest because Crystal Shard is not this much. Yeah, 75 cents. That makes more sense. Okay, so we've got our expensive card set aside. We've got our land that we're adding. It's going to be some sort of fetch land. Doesn't really matter which. We can figure that out later. And we've got these two cards that I'm like heavily inclined to add right now. And that leaves us with, we have to take 36 cents off here, but basically have a little under $13 remaining. And what I want to focus on with these, so we have 7 slots, assuming we add Crystal Shard and Banner Progress, plus one of these three, we have 7 slots, $13. And per my discussion at the beginning of the video, things I'm most interested in adding are threats, recursion, and potentially some more like removal or, some more counters would be nice because right now for a Simic deck, it feels like we don't have any counters. Like, yeah, we've got two. The deck starts with one plus Curious Spell Snatcher, which I did get off of the last game. I stole Mind's Dilation, which was like cha-ching jackpot, and then I proceeded to flip like 1,000 lands with it. So that was annoying. But now that I've gotten someone with Spell Snatcher, I'm very comfortable cutting this because it's it's cute, but it's just too unreliable. Like you don't always have a way to flip on their turn, and even when you do, I might I might just hold out one more week before cutting this, but we'll see. I'm gonna do the cuts at the end. So the point is, like, I think another counter is definitely a strong choice for this week. So I want to be thoughtful about what counter we add because, counters there's all sorts of flavors and varieties of counters, right? And normally what I would do is prioritize something that was inexpensive. I think, the cheapest and the freest counter spells are the most powerful. In fact, one thing I didn't talk about was like options like Force of Will, Cyclonic Rift. Cyclonic Rift, I think maybe would just be the best choice. If I only cared about power, which I don't, although I haven't won yet, and that doesn't rub me well. You guys are familiar with me. Um, I do like to win. So I think if I only cared about winning, I would add Cycrypt because nothing's better than Cycrypt. It's just bonkers. It deals with everything. Most people don't run protection from it. Stuff like March of Other or March of Swirling Mist or Slip Out the Back. Like so they're just ripped by it. It hits all their mana rocks, it hits everything. But I don't want to add Cycrypt. I'm just trying not to play Cycrypt at all anymore, except in my like most powered up decks. That's the only reason. If you want to win and you're just wanting to play the best cards, I mean, look no further than Cycrypt, seriously. But I could also add something like Force of Will very good card. Free counters, pretty good. Don't know if you've heard. Fierce Guardianship, same story. Not going to add this. I think these are better. Any of these three are better than Force of Will or Fierce Guardianship for this particular league. I'm not saying in general. Um, so I just want to run through. I have 121 cards here. I'm going to switch over to types and tags. I'm going to try to cut some of these maybe if they're really not things I want to add. Let's just go to types and look that way. Let's sort by name. Normally I would sort by mana value and like prioritize adding mana values that were important to me for my curve. But the curve in this deck is not that important, to be honest. Like we're ramping a ton, first of all, and we're flipping stuff for free. We're manifesting Dread. It's just a weird deck. So this is like one of the only decks where I'm like much less interested in what the mana value is of stuff. So I just want to look at everything in alphabetical order and decide if if I'm at all considering it as an option to add this week. I'm gonna try to be judicious about what I add because I end up always adding too much and then just have to cut stuff. So I'm gonna try not to add stuff where I feel like probably just gonna end up cutting this, but I do want to see kind of the short list of all the options I'm considering and then cut from there. So let's go through. So additional land stuff like Dromethanalysis is really good in this deck. I just don't think we need it right now. So I'm not going to cut this out of considering because I think it's a really good option for this deck. It's just not something I feel like I need at the moment. Enoch Survivalist is a flip into removal card. I think I'm on the fence about this because like it's not a threat and that's a problem. I'd rather make sure the removal I'm adding is also a threat because we need that. Adding a 2/1 is not what I need to do here. I don't care about tempo in this deck. These games are going long and playing a like crappy creature like this is not where it's at for, based on what I've seen so far in these games. So for that reason, I think I'm not adding this. I'm not going to cut it yet, but like I think it's close to being cut as even a potential option. Ancient Greenhorn really good. It basically means every landfall we get double triggers. So first landfall we manifest dread twice. Second landfall we flip two things. Seems excellent. If we could all afford it, it's quite expensive. I didn't realize it's still this much since it just got a reprint, but I doubt it will be coming down at this point. Azusa is really good here. I think it's an option, but I don't think I want to lean on this. I'd rather add Ancient Green because it's just a big reacher too. So that's pretty strong in this deck. Lonnie Paul's a cool one. This is like a draw engine, sort of like a Thrasios effect. We also got a big blue ox named Bo. I think this is a cool one. For only 65 cents, like I like it. Even if we end up flipping it off Manifest Dread and don't get the ox, it's still pretty good, right? We still get that attack trigger whenever we attack, not just with her, but with anything. We can put a land from our hand or our graveyard into the battlefield. I like that. I mentioned that my hand was just flooded with land. So adding something like this, this feels like a great option to me. So I do want to potentially get this in. Brain Elemental, I just maybe I just don't know if I want to be doing this. Sky Turtles, fine. It does give us recursion, which I was saying I wanted. Gives us bounce, which is nice. Uncounterable bounce, no less. And a 6/5 flying ward too is nothing to scoff at. I think, this could get there. Druid, I really like. Really, really like. There's tons of artifacts and enchantments that just are begging to be removed. But the fact that I'm adding Bane makes me think like, okay, just because last game I never drew that one mass removal spell I had, now that we have two artifact enchantment mass removal cards, I think I'm less likely to want the Druid of Purification, especially if I were to add like Finale of Devastation, for example, because that lets us find Bane of Progress, and then something like what's it called, Druid of Purification is just far less important. So I think we're saying no to Druid for now, but that could change in the future. Dryad, probably not. It's good, but I don't know if I want to pay $6 for it. Green Warden, this is like a double Ewit. Stats, just a 5/4 vanilla. I don't think so. I was waiting for this to come down in price. Doesn't seem like it's going to budge anytime soon. That being the case, I just want to get this in now. It's just so good in the stack. I feel like I'm missing it at the moment. Ixodron, not gonna bother with that. Kona, this lets us cheat stuff from our hand into play. Don't think so. Kozil Execute makes all of our manifests 5/4s. It's only 573. There's a very high chance we can cast this. We don't get that ETB, or it's not an ETB. We don't get that cash trigger if we flip it, but getting your nine's not tough. And then, like, smashing two cards out of at least one opponent's hand, if not two, seems really powerful. Close Cobra, we don't need mana. Lemura, same thing. Moloko, I like. Um, I really like, actually. It lets us bounce lands to our hand. So, just because it happened last game that my hand was flooded with land doesn't mean that there won't be games where you just run out of land and you're like, man, I wish I had more land. And Moloko's a way to make it so that you can just keep playing the same lands from your hand over and over, like bounce lands, replan, and make a bunch of 1/1s with flying to boot. Moloko would fit well if we end up adding Finale of Devastation because it gives us just more stuff to get buffed, right? Um, Giving all of our illusions +10/+10 trample and haste. Wait, does he give them trample? Does it? Doesn't give them trample, but I mean, not a big deal. Usually finale for Crater Hoof, but can't add both, unfortunately. How much is Crater Hoof anyway? Like $20 at least. Sure. Yeah, 27. Sad. This ugly ass version. All right, let's keep going. Nezahal is a great draw engine, but it's really good. It's impossible to get rid of. It gives us a way to discard stuff from our hand, which I actually really like because yeah, a couple times like now it's happened where I had a reliquary tower in play and it has just been hurting me because I'm like I had a wonder in my hand and I just wanted to discard it and I couldn't. So I kind of like the idea of adding alcohol. Yeah, it seems really good actually. I don't think we need this additional land stuff. We're not going with, let's get this over here. We're not doing the artifact stuff. E2. Sorry. Protean Hulk is good. It can get, you can, we're not playing this for any nefarious stuff. Like, normally when you see a Protean Hulk, it means someone's about to combo you out. We would just be playing it for value and like to tutor up our creatures that we care a lot about. For example, the Ancient Green Warden we just added, the Bane of Progress we are adding potentially. Like, I don't know if we're going to be able to afford all of this because like we're already at $32. So, obviously we're gonna have to cut some of this, but I'm gonna put Protean Hulk just in for now as a potential piece of the puzzle. Scion, this just isn't good enough, and given the direction we are going with the more mass removal, I think this isn't happening. Soul of the Harvest is just a draw engine, don't think we need it. Landfinder, don't need it. Sphinx is cute. I like this. I like the untap. You guys know I love Shadow of the Second Sun, and this is a way to run that without having it be an enchantment for like hurting the stack. I think I might add this week. Spring Bloom Druid is great. This is like a way to get two landfalls without playing any land. I think it's certainly an option, but I would probably lean toward adding Roiling Regrowth instead, given that it's instant speed. So let's just put that in. Again, we're going to have to cut some of this, but I'd rather see a short list from which to cut. Sun Quan is giving our whole board evasion. I talked about this last week. Horsemanship is from Portal. It's the mechanic. It's basically like flying. Uh, Only creatures with horsemanship can block creatures with horsemanship. So how many opponents do you know that are running horsemanship? Not so many. So it's basically like your creatures are blocked. 6 mana 4/4, your creatures can't be blocked. Yes, please. Thassa, not happening. Thousand Winds. This is a good this is a good one. I like these sort of conditional board wipe bounce things. But first of all, I don't own one of these yet, even though it's only 11 cents. I just don't have one. Plus, like, I don't know, I don't need more conditional board wipes. Tidefat Tyrant for 61 cents, definitely on my list. I got a Hullbreaker Horror out last game and it almost won me the game, so I like it. Triplicate Titan, sorry, buddy. You're an artifact. Not your fault. Provisioner's great, but I don't think we just like again, I don't want to focus on more mana or land stuff, except for adding maybe some lands. I think just like adding more straight up fetch lands is good, or like the Roiling Regrowth is an exception because these effects are so good, like Harrow and Entish Restoration we already have. Having another one of these at instant speed is just too good. If this wasn't an instant, it would not be on my list of considering. But being able to do this stuff at instant speed is huge, especially since like you can only get the first trigger once a turn, and the second trigger, third, and so on is always just flipping a creature. So getting the first trigger repeatedly is often what we want. Where were Vanifar. So this lets us cloak a card from our hand. Cloak is like manifest, except it flips for yeah, no, it's like manifest with word two. Everything's the same otherwise. So the word is pretty much irrelevant. No one's ever targeting our face down creatures. But just being able to manifest a card from our hand on every combat phase, I like that. Plus one counter thing is nothing to scoff at either. We often have a lot of face down creatures, being able to buff them all. Very, very strong option. It turns all of our like junk into threats, and I like that quite a lot. Doppelgang, this card just always nutty. Even if you only cast it for X's 2, I say only, but that costs 8 mana to do that. But you get 4 things, 2 copies of 2 permanents. Any permanents, doesn't have to just be yours. It doesn't say non-land, so right away this can get us 2 land, which is great because it means we don't have to play any land that turn to get both of our landfalls. And then the fact that we can steal powerful enchantments from Aminatou, we can like grab one with a multiverse. We can grab uh what is the other one? Omniscience. We can get a Valgavoth of our own and then take advantage of all the Valgavoth stuff that's triggering it just like it is for him. So first of all, I kind of love this card. Like, if you've seen my Glarb deck, you know how much I love this card. So being able to put it in another deck where it makes sense just tickles me all over. No more ramp. We're good on that. Even open the way, which I love, is not, we don't need it. Pick your poison, I think, I don't think so. These, maybe. No matter if you think your deck has enough draw engines or whatever, Ponder and Preordain are always, always, always really good. And it's hard to quantify how powerful they are, like when you play them for the game. You don't necessarily feel the effect of it, but it just smooths things out in a way that's hard to explain. Replication technique, I don't think I would add this and Doppelgang within the same week, but it's certainly a consideration because it can do the same thing that I just said that Doppelgang could do and make us 2 token copies of 2 lands if we just want to get those landfalls. Or we can copy some other fun stuff that we have. I love this card. I think people should play more of it. It's nuts. And there's always a player you can get the copy of this to that can only make something lame. So they're like, okay, I get to make another land or arcane signet. And in exchange, you make 3 Nezahals or something crazy. Is Nezahal legendary? Okay, you don't make three Nezahals, but you make three Hullbreaker Heart, which isn't legendary. Yeah, you could see how that can be powerful. I may not add this because we've already got what's that clone that's in the base deck. It's not good, but like there's probably stuff I can cut that this felt like, especially with Hullbreaker Horror and now adding Tides About Tyrant, I like this, a lot more than I did in the base level pre. So I don't think I'm cutting this. Even though it's not really the best version of this, it's still pretty decent. So replication technique may or may not make it, but I do like it. Season of Gathering, this is another like destroy all artifact and enchantment option. The drawing cards to the greatest power is nice too. The buff and give stuff vigilance trample maybe is the option we'd use the least, but I like the flexibility of this card. I think I would prefer to add Bane of Progress, but I'm going to put this in for now, just as a potential option that isn't Bane of Progress, because if it worked out that the money allowed us to add that and not something else, it could be that we go that route somehow. What does this do? Delve. I think I added it because of that delve, but an opponent mills 9, we can cap. Yeah, I don't know. This is not that you. Temporal trespass. This I think would be really good. I just don't know if we're gonna have the money for it this week. I'm gonna skip it this time. So if we play like 4 for X here, we get 4 6/6s. That's pretty good. I don't think it's gonna make the cut, but I do like it. Alright, Arachnogenesis, I think is an option. Do you like Arcane Denial as an option? This is ramp slash removal slash fight spell. I don't think we can afford it, but great card. I want to play more of it, just haven't yet, but I will. I quite like Barrier Breach, but I don't know if it's going to make the cut given that we are adding a mass board wipe for enchantments artifacts. But really good card that I want to, again, just like Archdruid's Charm, I want to test this card some more because it seems very good to me. Teleportation, not yet, but maybe soon. Ghostly Flicker's nice. This is kind of like Roiling Regrowth, and then we can just blink to lands if we want, and that gets us 2 landfall triggers. Mm, maybe. This might be better than the Regrowth, honestly, so we'll see. Rug, we can't afford it. March is good, but I don't think we need it. I like Moment's Peace. Let's consider that. Negate is a negates. I think negate's better than I give it credit for. I just don't know if it's gonna make it. I'd prefer to play Arcane Denial just as a more flexible removal spell that just hits everything. Don't need this removal. Twist reality. Like, I mean, I think Arcane Denial is just better, but I do like that this is on theme, so maybe. Blueprint's Binding. Any colorless spells mana value 7 or greater are we ready? Let's sort by color. So presently we have 0. Well, that doesn't bode well for Beacon Binding, but we're considering adding Kozilek. Yeah, I don't think so. Sorry, Beacon's Binding. Not this time. Do quite like this card though. I think it's not getting enough play right now. This is a very, very good price for it. I would pick one of these up if you haven't. I think this card is going to pop off. Probably not like anytime soon, but it will eventually. And you'll be kicking yourself if you didn't pick up copies for $2. I tell you what. Void Slime, love this card. Would love to try to get rid of them. Thieves, we don't need no artifacts. Alright, probably none of these enchantments because of reasons that I've already stated. Okay, so this is a pretty, yeah, I'm proud of myself. 26, that's pretty good. And it's actually only 25 because Zimone doesn't count. So we have room for one of these attraction deck cards is coming. So we have 9 other slots. That means we have to cut down to 9 from 25. So that's 16 cards we have to cut, which need to total about $35. Okay, so let's switch over to types and tags. I'm going to just update to cheapest one more time just to be sure. Okay, so I probably don't want to add stuff that is redundant. So I want to figure out, like, for example, the clones. Which is the clone effect that I would prefer for out of these two? So I really, really like replication technique and doppelgang. I wouldn't be upset to add both of these. I don't think that I'm going to add both this week. So if you're paying doppelgang for one, X is one, that's quite bad, right? You're just getting one copy of a permanent. But I don't think we're doing that often. It's a sorcery, which isn't great for us. I think if, we're adding something like, if we're adding the Sphinx of the Second Sun, which I would like to do, that means I think Sphinx and Doppelgang go well together. Because we can safely tap out on our turn and then know we're going to untap on end step. So I'm just going to try to trim from here. So let's focus on price first because we have a lot of dollars we need to cut. So I've sorted by price now. So the bulk of our money, so if we look at just these amounts, that's 7, 12, 13-ish here, and then we got 40 here. So obviously we need to cut all but like 2 or 3 of these big expensive ones. So the ones I'm least interested in, I guess, are like all of them. Protean Whole Kingdom. So it's between Vein of Progress and Season of Gathering. Let me think more about the expensive card I want. So, like, what do these cards really do for me? The Finale can get me something I need early, and then we can get it back later. Like, what regrowth effects do we have? Because these games are going long, right? Like, I need some like recursion. Shigeki is phenomenal recursion, like, but once it's in our graveyard, do we have any ways to even get it back? We don't, right? So, the only way that we have to get it back is the shuffle from what's it called? Blessed Respite. We could target ourselves with this. Another card that I could consider adding is Time Spiral, or if we don't want to spend an expensive card on Time Spiral is great, right? It's 6 mana. It's a time twister, right? Everyone shuffles everything. We could add Time Twister. I have a proxy one that's signed by Mark Teaton, and that's pretty sweet. Um, I wouldn't hate adding that because that's just fun. Like, here's my free card. It's $6,500 card. You set any value, right? It's cute. I'm gonna put it in consider. Time Spiral though, it's basically free to cast. Everyone shuffles. This hurts Winter because Winter doesn't want his graveyard shuffled in. It kind of hurts Aminatou because they play what's that new replenish card? It's called a Redress Fate, and they may be adding replenish with their free card. It would be a very good option for them. I don't think he owns one, so it probably won't be that, but it's not impossible. I wouldn't be surprised if he added like Rhystic Study or Trouble in Pairs or something like that. Um, which makes like again replication technique and doppelgang even better because I can make a copy of those guys. Um, one thing I feel like it didn't address with any of these ads was regrowth, like re getting stuff back from our graveyard. What if I added like Raiders Council? This would be like a nutty ad for this just like ultra long game that goes on and on and on. I would love that idea. How much is it? $1.25? Hmm, maybe. Just like basically draw 30. Oh my God, managing that hand would be a huge headache, but hopefully we could just win if we do that. So I'm thinking like if I don't add finale, do I have a way to win against these like now powerful decks? Because like I have some game enders, right? They come in the deck, which is good. I've got where Alpha Strike. And does have it in your Alpha Strike? This should be good. Yeah, so we've got the Overwhelming Stampede, which is good, but and Thunderfoot Baloth should probably have that tag as well. So these are good, and being able to copy the Baloth with like Doppelgang, that's a way to win, right? Scoot Swarm? I feel like I ever draw it does. So like this is just a way to win. Scoot Swarm, Overwhelming Stampede, Thundering Baloth. The problem is we don't always get those cards. They go to the graveyard a lot, so that really lends towards something like Finale of Devastation because we can get it out of the graveyard. And Praetor's Council. I think Praetor's Council and Finale would be redundant. Abhorrent Oculus is really nice with Praetor's Council because we're just filling our graveyard even more, and we know we're eventually going to hit the Praetor's Council and be like, boom, give it all back. I kind of love that. I Abhorrent Oculus is what I'm leaning toward adding, just to be frank. Like, this is the card I wanted to add. Like I said, I already printed out proxy to use. I wish I had a real one, but I just don't yet, and I'm not buying it at this price. It seems outrageous. I'm just hoping to open one, or I'm just going to proxy it until the price comes down because it can't maintain this price. It's a very good card, but like, there's no way it holds this price. I would be happy to buy it at like 15, but I'm not paying 25 for it, period. So I'm hoping to either trade for one or open one or something. And then top's just so good. They might just help us get where we need to be. Um, Tough choice. I feel like top is better, but I want to add the Oculus. We don't need to decide yet. I'm just Nelly. Man, these are all good. I wish I could add them all. I just keep adding stuff instead of cutting. This is how it goes with me. Hey, you're the one who decided to watch. I didn't twist your arm. Well, I kind of twisted your arm. I sort of like pester you all the time about watching, and I'm like, why don't you call more? I'm Italian, can't help it. Okay, all right, we gotta cut. Let's hunker down, make some decisions, make some hard decisions here. Okay, we're adding Hauntwood Shrieker. This helps us manifest Dread more. Maybe that means we can go with the top. The Oculus could come down in price dramatically all of a sudden. Seems unlikely, but it's not impossible, right? Guys, right? What if we draw this? Like, what if this isn't our opener? We have to exile 6 cards from our graveyard. So, like, I think adding this, I said it was good with the Praetor's Council. there's always going to be 6 garbage cards we can max out if we had to cast this. Like ideally you flip this like with Manifest Red, but casting it's not that hard. The problem with top is like we don't have any ways to find it, right? Think we have anything that can just like, find the top very easily. Tutors, not really, right? None. So we just have to rely on drawing it. We could flip it if we manifest it. That's good. And how good is it once it's in play? You spend 1 mana a turn in order to be able to look at the top 3 repeatedly, switch the order around, ensure that we are manifesting the cards we want and drawing the ones that we want. That's pretty huge. I could just like hard mulligan for the top. Honestly, like that is not the worst idea. These games have been going long. It's such a powerful piece. They have to counter it. Otherwise, once it's in play, like it's hard to remove. The only way to remove it is like unless you have like a crossing grip or something that a split second. The only way to remove it is to wait till they tap. So like let's say you had 2 removal pieces. You try to remove it, they say, okay, in response, I'm going to tap it, draw a card, put it on top. You say, okay, in response to that, I'm going to remove it again. You have to spend 2 pieces of removal. A lot of times that's worth it. Top is just like enables so many shenanigans. Um, if we were to like copy Aminatou, top is nice because, well, we're not really running any enchantments to miracle. We could add some miracle cards that like helps with top. I just don't know. Let's figure out what else we want to get in, and then I think maybe this decision will come easier. That's what I said initially, so let's stick with that. Kozilek, sorry, you're not going to make it. As a whole, as a whole is like really good. It just helps smooth things out. Like all the cards you draw off it, like I think we want Nezahal. Nezahal's going to help us win games. I think we want to get it in. Green Warden, I don't think we need it. It's nice, but doubling effects, like I tend to deprioritize them because in some ways they can feel win more, right? If you've got your engine going, trust your engine to work. You don't need to double its power. Now, that's not always true, but like it's a decent rule of thumb. Okay. Sun Quan, if we don't add Finale, then I like Sun Quan more because this is an Alpha Strike card. Do I have it as Alpha Strike? We should certainly label it that way. Um, because you can just drop this and all of a sudden they thought they had blocks and now your whole board's unblockable. You could just destroy someone, right? So really good card in this deck. I would love to add it. So I want to try to. How much do we really need gain in progress? I said like this is what I wanted to add right off the bat, but I think we do. We've just been getting wrecked by the stacks pieces and I need more removal. I'm focusing on what if we went with Season of Gathering instead? It's less money. That means Finale is less important because we don't have Bane as a target. So what if we did this? I'm going to put these in the sideboard just for now because I don't want to get them lost back in the considering section. So what if we went like this? Move this to sideboard. I don't know how to do that. We'll just leave it there for now. We'll move Crystal Shard to actually Crystal Shard is better without Bane. So I think I hadn't thought of that. I know I added them in tandem, but like Bane destroys Crystal Shard, so obviously a little bit worse. That doesn't mean it's like we can't add both of these, but it's just one non-bow I want to think about, right? Twist reality. Okay, so the counters we're going to decide on one, maybe two. The ponder and the preordain, like whatever. Will add one as filler if we need just a cheaper card, I think. Um, let's go with Doppelgang. Just put these in the sideboard. So I'm going to just put everything in the sideboard that I'm not 100% sure on yet, which is almost everything. hate how everything jumps around like that. Moss Field rewatching. It's annoying. I don't know if there's anything you do about it, but I hate it. Crystal Shard. Let's leave that for now. Sphinx I'd like to get in. Sky Turtles maybe. Tidespout I think is for 61 cents. This is so good for this deck. It's not nearly as good as Hullbreaker, but it doesn't matter. It's still insane. All right, where are we at now? This is 9 cards. 37, $38. Wait, that's counting the sideboard though. So how much is in the sideboard? I wish it would total the deck without the sideboard. So we're at, hey, why is it? I guess because it's shown as the taskbar. That's 3786 minus 2024 minus 36 cents. Okay. So this is 10 cards plus whatever free one we add, right? And we have like $2.74 to work with. So the things I really want to add are, well, this doesn't have any removal, so 4 counters, right? So I want to add a counter. I want to add one of the removal pieces. Let's say it's Season of Gathering. Okay. And then let's say our counter is Void Slime, because it's sick. I love this card. I don't think it's the best, but you know, it's just so fun playing Stifle effects because like people are like, you can't counter that. And you're like, oh yeah? Why you? Um, okay. Anything else in here that I like really want to get in? Honestly, like kind of love this idea. Um, Another fog would be nice. I just don't think we need it. So let's get these out. I don't think we're gonna bother with that. We've already got one fog. If I had unlimited slots, I'd probably add another fog, but I just don't think we need it. I do like Moment's Peace because it can be played out of the graveyard. And another thing I didn't consider as the expensive card would be like something like Snapcaster Mage, which I think is great in this deck. For example, like if our Praetor's Council goes to the graveyard, being able to cast it out of the graveyard seems really good, but it's okay. We're not going to worry about that right now. I think I'm happy with one of these 3 options. Okay, so we have to cut 4 cards now because we've added some stuff, and one of these has to come in, right? We've got 7, 10, 11, 12, minus 1 is 11. Wait, oh no, so we only have to cut 3 cards, not 4. What is, let's redo the price. So we're at 34.71 minus 11.36 minus 36 cents. Okay, so we have to cut 3 cards totaling $2.99. So approximately $1 each, or like one a little bit more expensive card and then 2 others. Okay, so Bonnie Paul is probably, you know, we could cut Nezahal and then add like a more expensive counter spell to make sure we're utilizing all of our money. Let's say we cut Nezahal, kept like Bonnie Paul's or like Pen Sphinx as our draw engine. We don't really need like a draw engine, so I'm not super devastated to cut this. Let's say we cut Void Slime and added like in denial just because it's more expensive. So how are we doing now? Let's redo this. Always going to start at 3471 as long as I don't move anything out of the sideboard. Okay, so now we're under budget by $1.34, and we still have to cut 2 cards. So let's say we cut Bonnie Paul. This card is so like iconic of me. I don't it's I think this is probably the cut, but I hate to cut it because I love it. And I want to show support for the cards I love, if that makes sense. At the same token, I don't want to cut Crystal Shard for the same reason, but we have to make some tough choices, right? I'm already adding a lot of pet cards here. Doppelgang and Praetor's Council are both quite expensive. Maybe I cut one of these two. Like, what if we cut Doppelgang and added Replication Technique instead? Just to be cognizant of our mana. How much is Mana Reflection? That's actually one I might consider because, oh, it's an enchantment though. I'd love to add an Explosion, but that's like way too much, right? I'm getting sidetracked again. Me, $20. I mean, it's broken. I get it. All right, so not those. Okay, so we're at 9 right now. I don't really remember what I just did, but I cut something. Oh, I was going to add back Replication Technique. Where's that? Yeah. I mean, to be honest, we don't really need this. Maybe I just don't add this back. Okay, where are we at now? So we're starting from 3471, right? Yep. We'll subtract 68, 36. All right, so we have 253 to work with, but we're at 9 cards right now. That means we could upgrade something. So we could upgrade Season. Could we upgrade Season to Bane of Progress? And is that even better? I think it's better, especially if we're adding Crystal Shard to sideboard, because then we can bounce it back if it comes in. Actually, if we bounce a Manifest, they don't get to see it, right? That's pretty good. We're being probably pretty close now. Maybe like $1 under. It's probably an easier way to do this, but tell you what, I'm just gonna I did this last time. I'm just gonna screenshot the sideboard so I can get out of here. So we should wouldn't calculate it. All right, so let's bulk edit it. Get all this up on out of here. Get up on out of here with your eye holes. So we are at 1964 minus 36 cents. So 1928, I think. That's pretty good. And this is 9. So let's say I went with this. What card fits best with these? So Creator's Council is like a really late game card that lets us just have some inevitability. It lets us get back basically, or not basically, everything from the graveyard. We are adding, what are we adding? We're adding like some big threats, draw engines, ways to like clean up our hand, which is huge. I'm excited for this, honestly. Like this is, I don't draw the Scroll of Fate often enough. Like now I'm adding all these enchantment artifact workfacts, so it's like, what I'm gonna want to do is be hesitant to play these cards Maybe I get Crystal Shard out. I like Crystal Shard. It's okay. We can have some things that get hit, and hopefully we can just be thoughtful about when we play Crystal Shard if we haven't yet played a big board wipe like this. Um, so we're adding Alpha Strike, clog the board with more stuff, clog the board with more stuff, clear their side, clear their side. It's sounding like Finale's going to be good because we're adding two pieces that like add a bunch of like stuff to our side. Top lends well towards something like Creators Council because helps us set up for a long game. But top is also not that synergistic with Creators Council. Creators Council means like we don't care that much about what we lose because we know we can get it back at the end. So maybe top isn't the right choice for that reason. And Oculus is great because again, it's just like flood the board even more. Finale lets us find normal analyst, lets us find. So, it would be great to add both of these, which of course we can't do, but Finale lets us get like other pieces that do similar things to Oculus, right? Um, stuff that just manifests a lot, right? Where's our manifest? So Finale can get us Curator Beastie to really just make a bunch of manifest dreads for us. Like, what is a card? Do I have any like token makers? It can get a Scoot Swarm. So let's say we had like two fetch lands in play and a like Harrow in hand. What I'm thinking is like if we finale for 10 and get Scoot Swarm, we could then respond to the finale trigger. Does it work that way? Search for a creature, put it on the battlefield. I don't know if finale is a like trigger that can actually like be responded to. So like if I finale for Scoot Swarm, can I respond before the buff happens? I don't think I can. Tell you what, let's ask the judge. So I asked in the judge's chat and they confirmed what I suspected, which is once finale starts resolving, it's kind of too late. Like, so we can't just like grab Scoot Swarm, sack a bunch of fetch lands, and kind of cheat that way, which is sad, but it makes sense. So thank you. What was that? Let's go back to our analysis. So that makes finale worse, but it's still extremely good. It's gonna end games, which is what we want of it. But we do have the overwhelming stampede already, and the fact that we're adding Creators Council means like I think I'm just having a really tough time on this decision, and it's very important. Um, I'm gonna be playing a game with this deck after this, so I might end up changing this, and if so, I'll post a revision to the video, but I'm just trying to think like if I draw one of these pieces early, which one is going to lead to more game wins? I mean, like that's what it comes down to, right? The Oculus, while it's great, it's kind of a like huge scary threat that like takes some time to do its thing, and it's very obvious. So I don't, that's one of the reasons I don't like it. It's obviously got tons of reasons to like it. It's 3 mana, it's a 5/5 flyer. It makes a 2/2 face down creature every turn. God help them if you have a paranormal analyst and play with this. You're drawing 4 cards a turn in that case. It's just crazy. It gets out of control so fast. But I think the way we're like building this deck is not to be so hyper aggressive. And we don't have a ton of ways to capitalize on that. Although we're adding some, I think. And the fact that I don't have this card, I'm not using that as a decision maker, but it certainly helps push me one way or the other since I've got 2 other options that I do own that I think would be equally good, if not better. So let's say this is out. I wish I could just move it to the sideboard for what they're considering from here, but why did we do that? Let's just move all of these. Well, you get the Oculus into considering, and then these two. So just put them aside for okay. All right, so between finale and top. So these are totally different, right? Finale is just a creature tutor early game. It just sets us up well. It lets us put our paranormal analyst in play. It lets us, grab Bane of Progress if we need it. That's nice. It lets us get whatever we need. Or late game for 12 mana plus, it tries to end the game. But we do already have an Alpha Strike card. We're expecting the game to go a little long anyway, so I think I'm going to go with the top because we've got a redundant piece like Finale already, and the top is just, nothing works quite like Sensei's Finding Top. It quietly wins games. It's not that quiet because you're like activating all the time. There's game actions, but like nothing about reading this card appears to be that powerful. But when you really start to think about all of the things this does, especially when you have a lot of shuffle effects in your deck already, it's hard to it's hard to minimize how powerful this really can be. And I think given that we're just having a hard time closing out games, things aren't going quite the way we want them to, having an effect like this in play early game could change all of that, like just dramatically. So I really like the idea of this. I think I want to add it. At least let's see how it goes for one game, and then, maybe I'll end up switching it out for my final decision. So the last thing I want to consider is like, can we optimize what's here a little bit? Because we've got a tiny bit of need to work with, right? We're at, if we take out this 25, um, here I'm at 40, minus 8 plus 58 minus 36. So we've got like 72 cents to work with. That means we could, in theory, like upgrade one of these things. I don't know if there's anything better than these cards that we really want. So I don't want to make a change just to just for the sake of like optimizing the dollar amount. I don't want to fall into that trap because card being more expensive doesn't just mean it's better, right? Often it does, but there are plenty of reasons cards can be expensive, including stuff like scarcity, which doesn't have any impact on the power level. So here's the other things we're considering. So I want to like decide, could we get any of these in by upgrading So what did I say? We have 72 cents. So like, for example, if I wanted to get, if I really wanted to get Nezahal, 572, we had so many calculators. Which is the newest calculator? That's for you guys. No mess. All right, let's just do this again. Wish there was, oh my God. Wish there was a better way to do this. There probably is, but never mind. 4532 minus 36 minus 3560. Okay, so yeah, 72 cents to work with. So that means we'd have to cut a $5 card and we could add this instead. We don't have a $5 card, so like there would have to be a like multi-series change to get that in. But like that's not the card I want to add. I just want to get that as an example. Like we could get Bonnie Paul in place of a $0 card. We don't have a $0 card, but our cheapest cards like Sphinx of the Second Sun. Is anything better than Sphinx, for example? Like, anything that's less than $1. We could add any of these cards instead of Sphinx. I don't think I want to do that. Like, if I look at these cards, the cards that I would consider changing are only like Arcane Denial. What counters could we get for instead $2.16 or 26 cents or something or less? We could get Strict Serenade and think we want that. I think Arcane Denial is just better. We could get like Void Slime, but that's cheaper. So plus, I think I'd rather have Arcane Denial. We could add Void Slime later if we need something cheap. We could upgrade Crystal Shard to a card that is like $1.50, like Ponder, for example. I think I like Crystal Shard. I'm happy with this. I'm going to go with it. This has been a long video already. Thanks for bearing with me. This is just my process, and I know it's a little long-winded, but this is what I do. So I hope you're enjoying it, but if not, just skip ahead to the gameplay video. It'll be soon. So I want to get these added. So what I'm going to do is, actually, hold on. Let's move the top to the main deck. And then what fetch line do we want to add? I think I need to figure out what color we need more because I already have Misty Rainforest, and that's the only dual colored fetch line. So we're gonna have to decide on a color. So let's consider that. Um, we can do that in a minute. So let's cut these all out of here. We're just copy them for now. So I'm gonna go to my main list. Just put regular sort. Nothing's in the sideboard, good. So let's just put all the stuff in the sideboard. It should be like $45 or something. Yep. Okay. And then, so we're adding a it's pretty much half and half, right? Tidespout is a little heavier blue. Let's just look at what our color mix looks like at the moment. So right now we're much more heavily green, and our mana is equal. So I think adding a green fetch makes more sense. But before I for sure decide that, I want to look at the curve because here we see like our early game plays, like what are we looking to do the first couple turns, which are really the only ones that like matter that much. Um, these spells we're not casting turn one. Pick your poison I already have in here. Okay, so that shouldn't even be considering. Just cut that where I get confused again. All right. Did I end up adding? I guess I didn't end up adding either the doppelgang or the other one. How much was doppelgang? Sorry, I know I said it was done, but doppelgang's 54 cents. You add that over Sphinx, is that better? Yeah, I think Sphinx is better because we can manifest it and just flip it that way. Doppelganger. Is it better than any of this stuff? What about versus like Crystal Shard? Crystal Shard lets us. What does Crystal Shard really let us do? It lets us recover the Bane of Progress if we need to use it again, or like we have something that has an ETB that we don't. Like the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm thinking like Crystal Shard's cute, but it's also an artifact which we want to move away from. Let's get that out and let's add Doppelgang because Doppelgang's fun and it's really good. Yeah, let's do it. Is replication technique better? What if we added replication technique instead? Because I actually think it might be better for us, given that we're adding Creator's Grasp. And then we probably have even more to work with, so we could like upgrade the Sphinx to potentially something else. So let's just see which we've got. 4470. Minus 136. Minus 26. Now we have $1.34. Is there anything under anything here? Let's go to the main grouping, sort by price. Look at the $1.34 stuff approximately. Shut up. No. All right. Let's stick with the doppelganger. I think replication technique's a little bit better, but I'm leaning toward wanting to add both. So I'd rather add the one that is a little more expensive right now. And that is my final decision as of this second. We'll see you again on this deck list in about 1 minute. Just kidding. Let's see what happens. So what did we do? We traded Crystal Shard for Doppelgang, right? So let's just switch them. Crystal Shard, you're out. Doppelgang, that's done. We know we want to add a green land. I mean, at least I think so. We're looking at the one drops. Pick your poisons, a card we want to cast early. These aren't really. We have a lot of double green early plays. I think green is definitely the way to go. Because green, also casts our fixer spells if we need to find that blue to cast our commander. So let's definitely go with green. So I'm just going to switch back to this list for 1 second, just because I want to add the fetches here. So let's add packages, fetch lands, and upgrade to cheapest. So we want the most expensive green land. We already have this one. Verdant Catacombs it is. So let's just make these all we're considering. And then what land do we want to remove? Probably Ash Barrens, but let's see what else there is. Interest is pretty bad. I don't think I've ever used this, but it could come in handy, I guess. Better Growth's fine. Fine. Slant's fine. Conquer Talent. I'll just leave it. I think it has come in handy more than it's been annoying, but it's hard to say. Yeah, let's get Ash Barrens out. I don't know why this is in the deck in the first place. Two-color deck. Green deck, no less. This makes no sense. It's not like this helps with Blindfall. I don't know what they were thinking with this in the precon. Okay, So our land swap's in. So now we only have 10 cards? Oh no, I screwed up. Well, that's good. We have like money to work with, right? Because the top is a free card in addition to the 10. Oh baby. Oh, I love this. You love to see it. You get to add a card now? Oh my gosh. Wait. Oh yeah, we have 11 counting Zimone. We need 11 without Zimone. Okay, beautiful. So how much money do we have again? Oh my gosh, this is amazing. I know I just did this, but I just want to make sure. 45, 11, minus 36, minus 2, we've got 93 cents. It's practically a fortune. All right, so ones I'm most interested in are, I wouldn't hate to just like add it, upgrade another land since it's like kind of free right now. We ended up adding some of these, so like this isn't the most updated list. Even 93 cents. Let's just look at no moving. So this 93 cents. Soul of the Hearts. Preordain would be nice, but I don't think so. Crystal Shard? I think I talked myself out of Crystal Shard, so let's skip that for now. We could always change Doppelgang to Replication Technique to give us another choice. Replication Technique's 13 cents versus 54. So we could get a bonus 41 cents if we want. Um, so that could get us from, so we have either 93 cents or $1.34. So let's look at the options for both. Um, let's say like neither one, right? Just see if there's anything that's a little bit more that we could maybe squeeze in some other way. Crop rotation would be really nice, but don't think so. Hate to add Bonnie Paul. What does this do again exactly? So it ETBs we create, but we may or may not get that. Otherwise, it's just a 6/5 with reach. When every time we attack, we draw, and then we could put land from our hand or graveyard onto the battlefield. That's pretty cool. Ghostly Flicker I like. It's like a protection spell, but it could also like retrigger ETBs. It could retrigger landfalls, some combination of those things. I think that's a strong contender. What is the smaller amount we have? 93 cents. So that uses it pretty well. What would be the things we're considering? Sky Turtle. I don't think we need that as much given that we got the Crater's Grasp in. Or not Crater's Grasp, Crater's Council. You know what? Let's try out the Flicker. What do we have that benefits from the Flicker? Let's look at our creatures. I mean, I know it could blink other stuff, but like mainly it's going to be creatures that we care about. So stuff with ETBs, this doesn't really count. Like none of this stuff. Beastie, Manifest Dread on entry. Yeah, like kind of like nothing. Obviously, we could flip stuff with it, which is nice. We could save our commander from a removal spell. Um, Loving it. What do we need? We need just like some high impact stuff. Like another big thing or like another, another alpha strike card. We already added Cynical, right? Cynical's in. Yeah, Cynical's in. So like, I don't think we need propaganda. Nezahal is one I'd really love to get in. I don't want to like start reworking everything, but like this kind of does just change everything. What if we added Nezahal? I just want to like consider this, and then if not, I might just like go with some land or something. But could we get Nezahal in somehow? We add Nezahal. Let's say we take out Crater's Grasp, because Nezahal's, it's the same sort of thing. It's just like a big value engine. We downgrade Gain of Progress to Season of Gathering, which gives us like a couple bucks, I think, 433 versus 614, so it's like $1.80. Just move this up here through. So we'd have to get down 515. So we cut $1.80 here. We cut Arcane Denial down. It's like 280. This could be a different counter. Creators Council can become anything, like anything cheap, whatever. Like, okay, let's say we put in Twist Reality, or well, how much is Void Slime? Okay, so let's go this out, Void Slime in. Let's choose this. Void Slime in. Okay. We want this number to be 12. No, 11, because the top is out. So we want it to be 11, and then we want this to be $20. So let's say Creators Council out, and we have to add something instead. So we'll figure that out in a minute. It can be anything though, because we added Nezahal. That's sort of the same role as Creators Council and Sonic Creature. So I actually like that a lot better. I feel like I was getting too focused on Creators Council because it's cute, but I don't think we need that. So we need to go down another 250 and then still add a card. So let's say we move this out and put in replication technique, gain of progress out, and what's it called? Season. Maybe. Nice. Okay, so we just have to go down 29 more cents and still add a card. That seems doable. I don't know how, but it does seem doable. It might mean we need to put out that far. Don't love that. Season's nice too, because it's like kind of like an Alpha Strike sort of effect, because we can give 5 things, Vigilance and Trample, and +1, like, that can end games. In fact, I would want to like see that in Alpha Strike if I were looking. That's just an option. We're really close here. Oh, we have the price of the commander in here. Oh, so we're good, right? Oh my goodness. Are we good? We're like totally good, right? We got, I could have done this math myself. 29. Okay, so we're like 7 cents under. So you add a 7 cent card here. I can do that. And protector. I mean, I don't hate it, but I'd rather add some kind of land. Let's go to no grouping again. Yeah. Okay. So, oh, what is this? 88 cents. Sad. Really? You want Shire Terrace? You did the math right, right? Yeah. Let's be 7 cents. How's the game? Capture colorless or one to fetch. That's pretty good. But that's the same as Shire Terrace. It's like exactly the same. Heck yeah. But then we are 1 cent under. Just kidding. I'm not gonna do that to you guys. Look at that. 1999. Heck yeah. I like this. I like this better. See you again in 1 minute. This time I'm serious. We're going with this. I swear. I swear. You guys believe me, right? You guys believe me, right? I'm not crazy. You're the one that's crazy. All I wanted was some Pepsi. She didn't get to. Just one Pepsi. All right, sweet. We did it. Let's screenshot this shit before I decide to do anything else. Ooh, y'all, look at that. And I have to send a screenshot of this to my playgroup and be like, look at that, bitches. Are you adding your match? All right, cool. Cool, 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 no doubt. All right, got the screenshot. Now what are we cutting? The fun part, the cuts. Um, we're adding one land, so we're gonna cut another land, right? Don't mind if I do. Um, Castle Vantress, I'm looking at you, buddy. Maybe not. It's between Castle Vantress. I don't want to cut a basic. I'm already running out of basics as is. Mossbrook Bridge. Mm, Line goes. It's a good card, really good card actually. I don't know what I'm saying. It's great. Oh, Reliquary Tower. Kind of doesn't hate getting rid of this shit. I like Temple. I quite like Temple. Like even in like my fully constructed decks, I think this card is good. I know that there are a lot of people out there who think it's not, but I'm a fan. I think you can't really count it in your land count. If you count this as a non-land, then you're fine. You know, including in your mulligan decisions. Do not count this as a land if it's one of 3 land in your hand. Pretend like that hand has only 2 land, and this card's great. Like I think it requires a little bit of forethought and planning, and occasionally it's going to like screw you over. But I think this is a good card, and you should be playing it more often. It does require a little bit higher skill ceiling to play, I think, but like it's good. And you should be playing less of Reliquary Tower. Maybe unpopular opinion. That's what I think. All right, let's just get Vantress out of her. Um, Vantress or Reliquary Tower. Yeah, let's. Especially with Nezahal. Nezahal doesn't say anything about max. Oh, it does say no max hand size. Um, like taking forever on these tiny little decisions, and let's just make a decision and stick with it. Is Vantress ever doing anything for us? I get it, like scrying 2 is nice, but we're adding top. We added top. Let's get this out. All right, Vantress, you're gone. All right, let's just add these to the main deck, and then we'll cut. So we should have 38 land now, which I like. And then we have to cut 10 cards. Yep. Wait, is top in? Top's in. You already. Oh, one of the cards we added was a land. So we had 11, but we already made one cut. Okay, good. Make sure we didn't like screw something up. Okay, I'm gonna move stuff to the sideboard that I'm considering to be cuts. I'm going to try not to spend too much time on this. So this card has been awful. I think it could be good, but let's just put it in the sideboard for now. What is the shortcut? Altered. Stuff that I feel like is underperformed. I'm just gonna put it over there and then we'll talk about it. This card's fine. I don't like it, but it's good. He said begrudgingly. Multani is good. These cards are good only because like not only, but like in part because we have overwhelming stampede, which gives everything as much as your biggest creature. And we added Season of Gathering, which gives trample. So like the more trample we add, the better these just like big beefy things are. Like what's the sorcery thing? Does it count as a sorcery? The the giant. What's it? Oh, Beanstalk Giant, this thing. Just big dumb oaf, right? But like it turns on overwhelming stampede, which I didn't necessarily realize at first. Amidora, this is cuttable. I don't know if I'll cut it this time, but it could be cut. Oh, Sun Quan helps with these big dumb oafs too. It's actually really good. So yeah. Quick shower. This card, yeah, not like a huge fan of. Actually, take it back. I really like this card, but I don't know if this deck needs it. It's like just it's okay. I probably won't cut it, but maybe. Well, let me see. These are all okay. Maybe this goes. I like Aether Gale. That performed well. I like it can hit anything. This I think is good. Predation has done some work for me. I don't mind it. It probably will get cut eventually, but I don't hate it. Probably not cutting any instance, but let's just look. Filter out, I forgot I added this, but this should be good. I just haven't drawn it. I don't think I've ever cast this yet, but I think it's okay. These all look good. All right, enchantments I want to cut if possible. So Trail of Mystery. Face downs enter, we get to put basics to our hand, and then they get buffed when they flip, which is fairly relevant. I think this card's fine. I'll probably cut it next week. This card's great. I like it. Great. And it gets value when it enters, which is good. Great. Secret Plans is good enough. Rome Dread. This could get cut. This is only 7. Let's look at our types and types. So we have a lot of board wipes. Do we need all of these? These are board wipes for, we have like 3 for artifacts and enchantments, 1, 2, 3 for creatures. So I think this is good, this combination. And then we've got these like things that can bounce a lot of stuff. So we have a decent amount of removal now. Couple clone effects, I like that. We have now a decent number of counters, that's good. Draw stuff. Let's go and we can draw two to land and don't off this card. Dig I like. Let's draw engine cards. Show history. Hmm. Okay. I mean, pick your poison. I know I added it earlier, but it's less useful with all the other stuff I've added. Actually, Trigon Predator. I just haven't found. I think this is worth it. It's so annoying when it's on the other side of the board, but you're facing it, so you don't want to discount it, even though we've added this other board wipe stuff. Maybe Aether Gale we don't need, especially given that we just added the Tidespout Tyrant. That makes sense. I do like Aether Gale, but with the Tidespout, the Hullbreaker, and like all the other stuff, I think we don't need it. Um, Mother of Autumn is good. This stuff's good. What do we have in mana and red that we don't necessarily need? Cultivate. Cultivate I don't love because it doesn't help us cast our commander on turn 4. It only puts one land into play, which is fine if we just want to play land naturally and then cultivate. That works. I think it's a consideration, but maybe there's a better option. Disorienting Choice. Maybe we don't need this actually. I like this card a lot. I was just talking to my Discord about it, and I think it's good. The fact that it exiles is powerful too, but we just don't have that many lands that we care about getting because this is a precon. Like, I'm not running like Field of the Dead and like stuff that I would care about. So, like, what are the best lands I could get? It's just like look at our lands, a bunch of basics, right? Bounce lands, fine, whatever, maybe. These fetch lands would be good because we get them right away and then you get to use them later. Mosswork Bridge is a decent option. Nothing that is that big a deal. I don't know if it's worth it, given that we just added, I hate to cut removal, but like it's not even guaranteed removal. They'll just like give us land if they have stuff they care about. I think we get rid of this. This card is better in higher power decks because you're going to have more juicy targets more frequently, and you're going to have better things you can get. So I'm not cutting this because I dislike the card. I just think in this league, it's not what we need. So let's just put in the sideboard. And then I want to just finish looking through all of our options. I don't think there's anything else I'd prefer to cut, but I just want to glance at everything else from this perspective. Is there any ramp piece that I think is worse? The only one is Cultivate that I would think is potentially worse, but I think I like it better. So let's just go with this. Let's look at what is there, make a final glance at it. Actually, before I do that, I just want to look at the curve real quick. Curve looks okay. We lowered fours, which I don't hate, because matters for, right? And then our color mix is a little less skewed, I think, which is good. And it's now a little heavier to green, which makes sense because we have more green. This stuff all coming out. Phyrexian Thieves is cute. It triggers landfall. I looked it up, but for 4 mana, yeah, we cut a lot of fours, right? Look at all the fours we cut. Boom, 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 boom. But I'm cool with that. The Tanuki is just whatever. I don't care about cutting it. Shrookwood, I would like to keep this, but is there anything worse that we could cut instead? This is a 7/5 trampler that basically untaps 7 land. It's kind of nice, actually. I don't really want to cut this. Is there something we can cut instead? I like that it's getting tough to make cuts at this point because it's starting to feel like the deck's coming together a little bit, which I like. Um, this doesn't allow us to play extra land. It does allow us to play creatures off the top, but and looking at the top's nice, but I don't know. This performed really well when I had it. I don't think I want to cut it. It's a nice little draw engine potentially if you could play some creatures off the top. Not that our creatures like really want to be played off the top, but being able to see the top and then this is good with Sensei's Divining top because like being able to manipulate the top helps a lot when you have Augur at bottom. So actually, now that I realize that, I don't want to cut that. Um, no, over Cynical. The Exile is pretty nice against Winter. Maybe we cut Azuri's Predation. Let's do that. I think at this level of efficiency, and now that other decks are getting stronger, this is just not, it's going to start to perform not as well. It's, it's a little sad to cut a like strong late game piece like that, but I just don't know if there's anything that makes more sense to cut. No Beastery. I think Trail of Mystery is good. I know I had a bad experience with it last game, but I don't want to. I don't want to be hyper focused on that. Cackling Counterpart. This is just so good with like Hullbreaker Horror. That combo right there ends games. And the fact this says flashback for 7, I like that. So let's not go there yet. I don't really want to cut a land. I think I'm happy with the predation. Let's see for plans. No, this is a nice little draw engine. And if it gets destroyed later, like by a gain of progress or whatever it is we added, there's yeah, let's go with this. So I'm gonna lock it in with these changes. Uh, 2 hours later. Thank you for sticking with me. If you're still here, if you're asleep, sweet dreams. Anyway, I'm gonna post a gameplay video, so I hope you enjoy that. Please leave me some comments. Let me know what you thought of this format. Did you enjoy it? Was I too long-winded? I'm happy to hear all of your feedback, and I don't know if I want to say learn from it because I don't think I've learned anything. This is just how I do. But I do like to know what you're feeling and thinking, and if you enjoyed it and what you liked or didn't like about the video. So please let me know in the comments or let me know on Discord. The Discord invite is in the link in the description below, along with the deck list. And that is it from me for now. Matt from Surf City TCG signing off. Enjoy the game. Cool. I will randomize us. Zach, pick a number between 0 and 5.
2.
1, 2. Well,
This is the same
all right.
configuration.
Yeah, we switched. You and I swapped and then swapped right back. Random.
Alright, this seems like a better starting hand, but we'll see.
2 lands?
It's more than 2 lands.
What?
That's why I'm
That's
not putting it
crazy.
back. Okay, I'm Morgan.
I would keep it.
This hand's awful. You say your commander, Victor?
Okay, I'll keep this.
Yeah, nice.
Sure, I'll
Yeah,
keep
this will be
this
way
one.
easier.
Oh, sweet.
Everyone's getting good hands because I'm not there to cut.
I don't know if this is good. Everyone's ready?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Good luck. Have fun.
Good luck.
I will play and pass.
I will draw a card. I'll play a Bloodfell Caves tapped, and I will gain a life, and I will pass turn.
He's winning. Get him.
No, I'm just a little guy.
Why do you have the
Like
most life then?
obscure storefront. Enter, sacrifice it, gain a life, and search for a basic island. I'll pass.
Ah, I'm not with me anymore.
Okay, I'll play Command Tower and Haywire Might, and I'll pass.
Draw. Play forest. Tap 2 for rampant grip. I'll get an island and pass.
And tap up to draw. I'm gonna play a swamp into a harsh mentor. Pass.
That guy again.
He's my buddy.
Morphic pull to Zorius Signet. Pass.
T2 for Death Cap Cultivator. It's a dork, and if he gets Death Touch if I delirium, and I'll attack. I guess Victor for 1.
It's not a Ripples of Undeath. What are you doing?
No, I'll pass.
Oh my god, we might have a chance this time.
Misplay. Let's have upkeep. Sure, I will. Misty Rainforest. Rocket for some sort of land and play Zimone. Pass.
Tap up to draw. I'll play a mountain. Pay these 2 for a Mind Stone. And those 2 for a Blood Artist. Now we'll pass turn.
Temple of Silence, Scry. And on top. 1, 2, 3 for monologue text. And I'll pass.
All right. I will play Bajugabog, and I'll exile your graveyard map. And then I'll pay 3, 4, 6.
Ha.
And I'll pass.
Tap of keep draw. Fabled Passage, trigger, manifest strat. Or actually, yeah, it's okay. Back the passage.
And then I'll have you lose 2 life from that.
Really? On fetch line?
Yeah. A Harsh Mentor?
I guess. It's not a mana ability?
No,
Oh, we
the
talked
fetch
about it
isn't.
last time.
Yeah, we did this last time.
Yeah, but that was on Steve. Is this different for some reason? I guess not. Okay. Damn, that's pretty good. I didn't realize it hit fetch lines. Alright, second landfall, I'll flip over a paranormal analyst. And I will tap 5. Actually, let's go to combat, I guess.
Turn so good.
Not attacking. Well, sure, I'll send 3 commander at you, Victor. Tap 5, cast a Whisperwood Elemental. And I will move to end step, and Whisperwood Elemental will have me manifest the top card of my library. Pass.
Alright, untap. I'll play a mountain. Alright, just go ahead and just pay 4 for my commander. And I think I'm gonna pass turn there.
One, two, three. Let me make sure I do this right. Yeah. 2 for Mindstone. And then I'll use the Mindstone attack. Is it Signet? Or is it already a Signet? 1, 2, 3, 4 for my commander. There it goes. I will pass after that.
Okay. Alright. I'm gonna go to combat. Victor, I'm gonna attack you with 6. It's a 2-4. And
I was
on
like, you're gonna
attack,
attack me with 6. It's 2-4.
mill 3 cards. His attack, I mill 3 cards. And I can return a land here, which is an overgrown, to my hand.
What?
What were the other two?
It is polluted cistern, and then Night's Whisper. This is also dim oubliette.
Thanks.
Okay, I will. Let's see. Enchantment, sorcery. So I'll shock this in. And I'll pay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Angel of Suffering. It's a 5/3 flyer, and then whenever damage will be dealt to me, I prevent that damage and mill twice that many cards. And I will pass.
Damn. It's pretty sick.
Enchantment, sorcery.
Can tap upkeep. Draw. Harsh Mentor is harshing my buzz here, Zach.
It's fine. He's just a little dude just hanging out.
Oh, my mistake. Pay 3 for a Ramanap Excavator. I can play lands from my graveyard. I will do so. Then Spelltable Passage. Trigger Zimone. Okay, I'll put this card face down and this one in the graveyard, but Paranormal Analyst will have it go to my hand. It's a Cultivate. Alright, I'm gonna crack the passage. Please take 2 damage. Trigger Valgavoth.
So you can just +1/+1 counter and I will draw a card.
Grab an island. That'll trigger Zimone's second ability, and I'll flip a Soul Ring.
Ooh.
Right. What's up for 2 and a green to cast the Cultivate?
Trigger my monologue text.
Yep. And the tapped island. And I'll put a forest to my hand. And that'll trigger Zimone again, so I get to flip something else. I'll flip this card. Jeff Mist Raptor. Whenever a permanent I control is turned face up, I can return it from my graveyard to the battlefield, either face up or face down. That's Megamorph.
That's me.
Yeah. Cool. I will go to combat and guess I'll send the Raptor at Victor again. It's a 3/3 death touch.
Okay.
That will be all. I'll go to end step and I'll manifest the top card. Pass.
Tap up, keep drawing. Oh my god, you guys. Land. This is great. I feel like I'm playing the game now.
We're in trouble. Kill him.
I'm playing Arcane Signet. And then I will tap that plus these. I'll play a Wrath Haunter. And I think I'll pass.
Zach, you're playing your black-red deck with a giant flying trampler. You should be attacking.
He's not trample.
Well, whatever.
Let's surveil 2.
Point still stands.
I will. Do like that. Draw. Swamp. Oh, that was loud. I guess I will. Play Sasa, God of the Sea. And we'll pass the turn.
Okay. Okay. Valgavoth has 1 counter on him.
He sure does.
Okay. I'll go to combat. The Angel, which is a 5/3, is coming at you, Zach. And then 6 is attacking you, Victor. I'll mill 3. I'll return Ash Baron to my hand. Akroma's Memorial and Tarmogoyf's Nest goes to the graveyard.
I'll take the 5.
Block.
Okay, they bounce. I will pay 2 for Farseek. I'll get a forest. Or actually, it comes in tap, so I'll get the Surveil Land. And I'll. Oh, wait, no. It comes in tap no matter what. That's fine. Okay. There's a sorcery there. Okay. I'm going to play the Ash Barons and put Winter into play. I'll go to my end step. I have Delirium, Sorcery, Kindred, Enchantment, Artifact. Akroma's Memorial comes into play. and I'll pass.
Seems bad.
That does seem bad, right?
Especially for Zach.
Especially for me, yes, especially for me.
That's like the house. Untap, upkeep, draw.
Oh no, that wiped off.
Yes, I will play this fabled passage. Oh. Trigger commander. Okay, I'll put a myriad landscape into my hand. Paranormal analyst. I guess I'll crack the passage again, taking 2 again.
Now draw a card.
I feel like the mentor isn't teaching me anything, he's just whipping me.
Well, it's teaching you not to play the card.
Oh, is that the lesson?
Yes, don't do that. Don't activate abilities.
Clearly I'm not learning.
Fight through it.
Yeah. You ain't scared. I get to flip something. Flip this card, I guess. It's a Drownyard Temple. Doesn't do anything, except if it's in my graveyard. So, Ian, your stuff has flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, haste, propact, red.
Yes.
That does not seem good for us. Yeah, I guess we're doing this thing. 2 colorless, 3 colorless. 6 total. Cast a Bane of Progress.
Oof.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Okay, so archives, yeah, both these dice. So I had 2 die.
Okay. Well, anyone responding? Again,
Yeah, I will. That's your first spell, right?
first spell, yeah. I'm only doing this to get rid of the Kruma's Memorial so we don't lose.
I'm okay with that.
No, it's fine. I just
You can sack the
So-
treasures so it doesn't get as big.
yeah, I'll crack the treasure and I'll use 2 of them to cast Telling Time.
You're responding, or
Yeah, response before it enters. I'll
sure.
use 2 to this, and I'll crack the 3rd one just for float the mana.
Okay.
And then, Ian, technically a creature died from you.
So I will prevent that damage in mill 2, right?
Well, it hasn't
one
resolved yet.
damage.
Hang on a sec. Victor's still
Okay.
responding on the stack.
Okay.
I'll put this one in my hand. This one on top, and this one on the bottom. Okay.
And it's resolving. All right. How many are being destroyed for each of you?
I have 2.
I have 3.
Okay.
2.
And Ian, you said you had 2? So that's
Yeah.
7 from you guys and my soul ring. So 8.
Matt, I'm gonna have you lose a life from the Blood Artist trigger, and then I'm gonna gain a life.
Me? After I dealt with that thing that's gonna fuck you up? Come on.
Yeah. This is 1 damage.
I'm also the lowest life. Just saying. Okay.
Well, I can't direct it toward Ian.
That's loss of life, isn't it? Yeah. That gets around his thing.
Or does it?
Yeah, it is. It's only damage.
It's only damage.
Oh. Okay, yeah. I'll send you Ian then.
Woohoo. How big's Aminatou?
2-4.
Okay. I'll send Whisperwood at you, Victor, and I'll send Death Raptor at you, Ian. 4/4 at you, Victor. 3/3 Death Touch at you, Ian.
Okay.
Okay.
No blocks.
Cool. All right. And
Is
then
it 4/4 you said?
3/3.
Okay. Oops. So that will mill me 6.
Oh, yeah. Wait, why 6?
Because it's double the amount of damage. Oh, it was 3 damage?
Yeah.
Okay. I
Oops.
got Grim Flare. I got Sepulchral Primordial, Cemetery Tampering, Citrus Supplier, Smuggler's Supply, and a Swamp.
Rest.
Nothing that bad. Yes, I will just move to end step and Whisperwood will manifest this card. Pass.
I'll play a swamp. I'll pay 4 for a solemn. Another swamp. 3, 3, 3, 7. Thing. Silly little angel.
So if he has like, say, 75 cards in his library, then it's like he's got, well, it's like basically like your life total. So half of that is 36.5. No, 37.5. Interesting card.
Yeah, I wanted to try it. I first tried it in
Kinda looks
Chainer
like
and it was kind of
Beetlejuice.
meh.
Why?
It just was too much milling. I don't want to mill all my deck in Chainer.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do, I will swing at Matt.
Okay. 6/6?
Correct.
No blocks.
And that's my turn.
Upkeep Scry. Then Surveil. Ugh. Look at that. And draw. And I will pass the turn.
Okay. How many cards are you at, Matt?
7.
Okay. Okay.
Listen, I think we all got off on the wrong foot. Let's talk.
So you have this guy's how big is he? 1, a 2, oh, 1, 2, 2. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go to combat. Both 6 and Winter are attacking you, Victor. It's a 2/4 and a 2/5. So I'm gonna do 6's trigger first. I'll mill 3, no lands. Then Winter's mill 3. Oh God. Okay.
Oh my.
All all lands.
Alright. I'll block Winter.
Okay.
Hey,
oh,
Ian, you should
got Death Touch.
pick the other order.
Oh,
I know.
never mind. I'll block 6.
Okay. Do I have sorcery here? No, still. Oh yeah, I do. Okay. I'll play. Let's do this one maybe. Let's see. All right, I'll pay 6 for Titania Nature's Force. Is that cool?
That's the forest one.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, and I will then play a forest from my graveyard, and I'll make a 5/3 creature token. Okay, I think that's it. I'll move to end step. I'll go swamp. Does anyone have creatures in their graveyard?
No.
Nope.
Okay. I'll do this one. I'll go enchantment, creature, artifact. No, that might need that. Sorcery. And I'll put demons, convent into play. It won't trigger till next turn, but yeah, that's super risky. Fun. All right.
You
And I
love
have
a
5/3.
you love a risky for the biscuit though.
Zach, you only 2 mana.
Correct.
Tap, upkeep, draw. With Fabled Passage.
Oh no.
What? I'll manifest strike. Okay. I'll put this card in as a manifest. Which I'll put in offer you can't refuse in the graveyard, but it'll go to my hand from Paranormal Analyst. Sack the Fabled Passage. Take 2 damage.
Draw a card.
Get mad. Trigger Zimone's second thing. So I'll flip this Shriekwood Devourer. 7/5 trample. When I attack with creatures, I can untap X lands where X the greatest power among those that are attacking. Okay, I'll tap 6. I'm gonna cast Sun Quan, Lord of Wu.
Ooh, Horseman Man?
Nope.
Yeah. My creatures have horsemanship, so they can only be blocked by creatures that also have horsemanship.
Fun.
I thought so. I will head to combat. One, two. $54. Oh, that just came in too.
Cynical.
Those both just came in. Okay. Actually, before combat, I'm gonna pay 3. And I will cast a Fertile Footsteps. Search for a basic, put it on the battlefield tapped. And then the Beanstalk Giant will be on an adventure. So I can cast it later. I'll grab an island and tapped. That's going to trigger Zimone again. So I'm going to flip this card. It's a Hullbreaker Heart.
Uh-oh.
I'll move to combat. I will attack Zach with all of these creatures.
Okie dokie.
Oh no.
On attack, I get to untap 10 land. I have exactly 10 taps, so I will untap all my land.
7,
It's
14.
3, 6,
Oh.
10, 13, plus 14 is 27, 37 exactly.
Okay, I lose.
No, what?
Well, hold on. Hold on.
Why aren't you blocking something?
I can't
He
block
can't.
can't.
They all have
My
horsemanship.
stuff has horsemanship.
Never mind.
You doing anything, Victor? I didn't
No.
want to do this, but then Zach kept hitting me even though I was ignoring him. You forced my
No.
hand, Zach. I am a harsh mentor as well.
I can't do anything to stop that.
All right. Sorry, Zach. GG.
Alright. It is what it
Okay.
is.
Yikes.
Um,
Can you deal with the horsey guy?
well, you guys are in huge trouble now with the hull breaker, and
Yeah, he untapped all
yeah,
his lands. This is really bad.
this is locked up. I'd be shocked if you could come back. I'll move to end step, and Whisperwood will manifest and pass.
I will scry first. Surveil. Yeah.
How many cards do you have in your hand, Matt? How many cards do you have, Matt?
I have 7.
Oh god. Okay.
Jeez. I got nothing. Go ahead.
Okay. Do you have any kind of backup if I try to wipe the board?
Yeah.
Okay. What creatures do you have untapped, Matt? Just the 2 manifest creatures? And then the horsey guy?
Correct.
Okay. Full swing at you. I'll do 6s first. Sol Ring, Swamp, Forest. Forest will go to my hand. And then Winter. Whip of Erebos, Noxious Cure Hole, Corporary Thread. So it's 6, 5-3 in the air, 2-4, 2-5 Death Touch, 5-3.
It's a total.
6, 11, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
What's flying?
The Angel only.
Okay.
5-3.
So there's another 5/3 on the ground. That's Titania's thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll block the 2 on the ground, the 2 big ones on the ground, and or wait, I have Quam too. How big is 6 again?
6 is a 2-4.
Okay. Sun Quan will block 6.
Okay. So
And that's it.
7 gets through. Do you have
Yep.
any effects before damage?
No,
Okay, so your
I
manifest
don't.
die. These stay
Yep.
alive. 6 dies.
Bye-bye, Toth.
Okay. I'll pay 3. And I have, do I have an enchantment artifact? Land. Sure, enchantment instant is there. Okay. What's your biggest creature, Matt?
10/10 Bane of Progress.
That one.
And then the next biggest are 7/8 on the Hullbreaker Horror and 7/5 on the Shriekwood Devourer.
I can't even full board clear, but I'll still try to do it.
5 would hit everything but these two.
I will do Deluge of Doom, which is -X for my card types in my graveyard. That's 5.
Which is 5.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a
What
cool
mana do
card.
you have untapped?
I have 5 mana untapped.
Okay. Tap 2 blue and a colorless. I'll cast Cackling Counterpart. It's a clone. I'm going to attempt to clone Hullbreaker Horror. And on cast, I get a Hullbreaker Horror trigger. So I will use that to bounce the Deluge of Doom to your hand.
Okay.
Well, hold on.
Oh,
Any response?
Nope.
okay.
Okay. So the Cackling Counterpart resolves?
Yep.
Okay. And this has flashback for 7.
Uh-oh. Okay. I'll play a land and I'll attempt to cast it again.
Okay. You have 3 land now remaining?
Yeah.
Damn, no land. I will cast an offer you can't refuse, targeting the Deluge and bouncing the Deluge and Aminatou.
Okay, that'll resolve that.
What else?
And you have 6 mana left? And
Yeah.
6 cards in hand?
I have 7 mana.
Okay. Oh,
And I
I'll
have
cast
five
it again.
5 cards in hand. And you're tapped out now?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll tap 7 and flashback Cackling Counterpart, targeting Hullbreaker Horror again.
Wait, didn't
And
you counter the deluge?
The trigger resolved first, which bounced it to my hand.
yeah, my counter fizzled. So I get 2 bounces on cast. I'm gonna target the. So there's like no chance you have a triggered ability counterspell, right? Even if you do, I can still come back from that. Could I? I don't feel like there's any reason to risk it. I'll just target both bounces at the spell.
Okay. But
And
I
then
can't. I
the
don't really-
counterparts on the stack if you want to do anything with.
No.
All right, let's make another copy.
Okay. So I'll go back to my hand, and I guess that's it for me. I'll move to end step. And let's see. I'll do the create a 5/5 flying demon token, and then I mill 2. So I'll do this one first. I'll mill 2. No, this one's an artifact, so perfect. It stays, and I get a 5/5. And then I will use. Let's see. I'll do. What creatures are in your graveyard, Matt?
Dragon Predator is the only one.
Okay.
It destroys artifacts or enchantments onto combat damage. 2/3 flyer.
Okay. I will bring in Noxious Gearhulk. I'll do another land and an enchantment. Not this one though, actually. Cemetery Tampering. And I will target the 10/10.
Sure.
Okay. And that's it. I have 5/5 blank. Okay.
Could you count your library for me, please?
Yeah.
Thanks. Cards in hand, Victor.
5.
I tap up, keep draw. Play Fabled Passage from the graveyard. Still have that guy, right? Yeah. Manifest Dread.
58.
Just face down, Reliquary Tower to the graveyard, which will go to my hand. 58? Thank you.
Yeah.
And you don't have any way to shuffle it in that is in play, do you?
Correct.
Back to passage. Actually, I'm not going to bother with that. I'll go to combat. What was the number again? Sorry?
58.
58. So 29. That's 21. 25. 29. Send 29 your way. Victor, I'll send everything else at you.
How much is everything else I did?
No. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 16, 3 of which is commander. And Ian, you have 29 coming at you.
Oh, I can't block. So.
Alright.
Okay.
You take it then.
So you mill your library. Any shuffle effects?
There's none.
Oh,
Like no
before
ultimacy or anything?
damage.
Oh,
Okay,
you
before
said
damage.
before damage.
I'll try and shield.
Yeah, should probably counter that or something. I'll tap 3 and Beast Within, targeting what land do you have, Victor?
Swamp.
What are all your lands?
Morphic Pool. Temple of Silence. And then basics.
Okay, I'll target Morphic Pool. And I'll get to bounce 3 things. So I'll bounce like Thassa, Paranormal Analyst, and I don't know, you're 5/5 flying, Ian. Oh, wait, no, the Ink Shield. I forgot about that.
I was like,
I have to bounce
okay.
that.
Does
So
it?
you keep your
Don't you
flyer
have
in the
Hull
game.
Breaker? Oh no, you bounced 2. Never mind.
Yeah.
It's back then.
Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, we good
so
to go to damage?
You bounce one of the ones coming at me, right?
Yeah, so you take 1 less.
Yeah. How much was that again?
2, 5, 8, 15. Okay, you've milled your library. You didn't get anything to shuffle. Cards in hand, Ian?
4. 5.
Okay. Pay 2 for the Paranormal Analyst, and I'll bounce your Beast token, Victor, and your flyer, Ian. What happens when you have no library? Is the damage still prevented? I guess
mean,
it
it
is.
just says I would mill that much, so I can't mill, so it just is prevented.
Okay, I'll bounce that guy for my 3rd one. And then I'll move to end step and manifest the top card and pass.
Try to cast Time Wipe.
Pattern.
Yep.
Well, good game.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, this is my first win of this series, so I'm happy.
That was
But
such
yeah,
an overwhelming win.
that was impressive.